I thought it was a tactical game, highly tactical. When you come to Mamelodi Sundowns as Golden Arrows, coming to the champions, a bit of down a bit in terms of confidence, but we had our own race to run. I thought we stuck to our game plan, created a few opportunities from the break. We could have done better maybe on the few half chances that we had. But again, I'm still proud of the point that we got away from home. It's just a young team, a team that has got its own objectives. I'm just happy that we're progressing well. And we're still within our objectives that we set up beginning of the season. I know now that the things have changed. Other people might think differently, but in terms of the objectives that the club set out beginning of the season, we're still on course. I'm just happy that we came here, got a point against Mamelodi Sundowns. The journey continues. We're looking at Amazulu over the weekend, and we'll see from there whether we can get points and proceed with the journey that we started beginning of the season.
Coach, speaking of those objectives, can you please elaborate on them? Thank you.
When I was given the task a week before we started the season, Coach Steve came to Mamelodi Sundowns, so not prepared. We had to speedily go through the objectives, which were try and get 8 points, try and get a minimum 8 points out of a group of 5. If it's possible, get maximum. In this group, we just one shot, we've got 7. Which is not a bad return in investment, because in other groups we were able to get more than 8 and more than 10. So you complement what you fell short on the points that you made in the other group. Honestly speaking, we're still on course. Just in a group of 5, you want to get a minimum of 8 points. And if you were to calculate 8 times 6 will give you 48, and that is top 8 based on what has happened previously with the league. If you can get 10, you will have 60 points. So somewhere along the line we fell short, but there's still games to be played. Hopefully we can get to 60. If I'm not sure, we're 15 away. Maybe we might not, but it's possible. Let's go as far as we can and maybe get to the highest position that Arrows have ever achieved, which was one of the objectives. Let's do better than other seasons. And I think currently we're on course to do that.
Hi, Coach. I just want to find out, what's it like, you're talking about coaching, obviously a young team. What's it like to be, leading such a young team, but at the end of the day, perhaps one could say, given the objectives and how you obviously ended up taking over with Coach Steve leaving at such short notice. What's it like coaching such a young team and they've seemingly, outdone themselves? I mean, I can imagine just the feeling for the younger players. Obviously, there is a blend of experience as well. But what's that situation like to have managed such a young team that finds itself at the moment 3rd with 5 games to go?
I must be honest, Mazola. I'm surprised that the team accepted first the leadership that was imposed to them at such a short space of time, and the acceptance and maybe from everybody and the support that I got from everybody around the team. Maybe one other advantage was that I've been in the setup for quite some time, and it worked better. Whether some players, I had an influence in them coming in the club, whether other players were in the MTC for quite some time. So I know all the setup. Secondly, I had the advantage that the coaches that I worked with, Steve Kompela, Clinton Larson, they treated me as a coach, not as an assistant coach. And the transition then was easier for me to stand in the same podium. It only changed the responsibility, but it didn't change the responsibilities or the perception in front of the player. So I'm still the same person, but just with an added responsibility and a different podium. I think that also helped. But I must also thank the players. They are working in a way where, as a coach, you must always be grateful. If you have a team like that, whether winning or losing, you will never doubt the effort.
I just want to ask you, obviously we've seen Amazulu win 5-1 this evening to move within a point of Sundowns. if it happens that you can't catch Sundowns and win the league, would you want your neighbours there in KZN to come through and take over from Sundowns? Maybe have someone new winning the league?
Yeah, it's Doubleford, Jonty, greetings. Firstly, as a coach of Golden Arrows, I've got a responsibility as a coach. I would love my team to do well, be competitive, compete with Sundowns and Amazulu. I'm playing Amazulu over the weekend, and we'll want to win and beat them. There's no favors I've learned in this league. And it's amazing that both teams, one way or another, there's a KZN influence. Amazulu, they're from KZN as a citizen, and I'm a former player of Amazulu, but the professional job that we chose just demands that you become fair, compete to the best of your ability. Whatever happens, happens. Secondly, at Sundowns, there's my mentors at Sundowns. I entered football through Manqoba Mngqithi as his assistant. He recruited me to come and join him at Golden Arrows. And whatever I have, most of it I learned from him. And recently from Steve, he left the club. So much I've learned, even human values from him. So one, I've got a split choice where one, do I go with friendship and the history, whether I become a citizen of the province. Hence, I just choose to be the coach of Golden Arrows. Whoever wins, wins, and I'll support whoever wins and stays on top of the podium.
You touched on it a bit there, but just personally, how special is it to sit on a bench opposite those guys and actually be experiencing a match at the top of the table between people you have such a long relationship with?
It's very emotional, short-lived. But one thing I have learned, which people think differently, that if you play against a team coached by somebody close to you, there might be favors. But one thing I've learned, it becomes so tense that it's professional jealousy or professional supremacy. You want to be better than your friend. And even the exchanges we had with Steve, it was like that, listen, we will beat you. I want to beat you. Not in a bad way, but you want to be professionally better than him, and he accepts that. And it's an experience like that. So one, those that are close to you are the real ones that you want to beat. When you go to Amazulu over the weekend, it's territorial supremacy. We will want to be better in the province, and currently, I think we have done better, although the media, for their reasons, have always preferred to think that Amazulu have done better. If you were to compare, on a fair race, I think Arrows have done better than Amazulu, but that's a story for another day.